It's time!
Monday Night Football is here. Raiders going into Kansas City. Chiefs a heavy favorite at -7. This might be an ass whooping. Raiders have not been playing too well. They are coming off of a victory, but then they beat Denver. That doesn't really count, right? My name is Tyson Smith, joined by Ellie Hernandez. Ellie, what's going on with you, man? How are you? What's up?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad we got some real football teams playing on some of these primetime games. So I'm just excited to talk about real football.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Let's get into this first look. So, Vegas going into KC. We all know there is a true home field advantage in Kansas City. -331 on the money line and -7 favorites. This is a 51.5 total. So talk to me, Goose. This is just a KC ass whooping, in your opinion, right?
Yeah, I don't think Las Vegas has been very good this year, and I would like to give them credit. I would like to say they're a good team because the Cardinals magically won that game, but I think that has more to do with them just being all over the place and being bad. So I think -7 might be kind of generous. We just saw Kansas City whoop up on Tampa Bay. And this Vegas team is not as good. But keep in mind, it is a division rivalry, so everything we could say could be thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Sometimes these teams only show up to play those 6 games a year. So, just be mindful. That's all I got to say. But I'm going with Kansas City at -7. I might put the house on that -110.
Yeah. I mean, look, Derek Carr isn't going through a divorce like Tom Brady, so maybe he'll actually show up for this game. Who knows? So look, man, there's got to be a chance. Like you said, this is a division matchup. I mean, is there any chance that this game is a little bit closer than we think, and Vegas comes out and plays the way they thought? Everyone thought they were going to play this year. And what does that mean fantasy wise? Like, what do we have to do? Do we have to kind of hedge a little bit and get some 4 stacks with Vegas?
Yeah, man. Well, so I don't even know. Like, we might need to get to the building to see what kind of salary forces us to do. But I don't know if 3-3 stacks are even going to be all that chalky. I think we're just going to see a shitload of onslaughts. 5-1 Chiefs, 4-2 Chiefs. But if we're being honest, like, and this might be a cop out take, but the best thing that you can do to keep an offense from scoring points is make sure that you have a consistent run game on the other side of the ball. Josh Jacobs looked really good on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think the real question in here is, do we trust Josh McDaniels to do the right thing and keep running the ball? Probably not, but I think that's their path to victory.
All right, well, let's jump into injuries. Ellie, talk to me about this. Obviously, sorry, guys, if that's a little hard to see. We have a couple injuries to talk about, a couple things that are kind of important here.
Yeah, so on the Kansas City side of the ball, I think the most alarming thing is just seeing all these wide receivers here in the injury report. All these guys are expected to go. I think this was just normal week 5 type stuff. So pay attention, make sure all these guys are good to go. But I think they're all playing. Harrison Butker is another one to watch. I don't think that he's going to be active. I'm pretty sure they still have that other guy who's going to be kicking for this week. But again, it's a Monday night game. Given some time, some of those dudes might heal. But on the other side of the ball, I think the real big questions are going to be Hunter Renfrow and his status. We just dealt with all this concussion crap. Naheem Hines went down in the first second of the Thursday night game, and then Tua. Right, everything's changing. He's been out for 2 weeks, but who knows? They could just rule him out right before the game with this new concussion protocol.
Yeah, and one thing that really worries me is when it comes to injuries now, they're so hyper vigilant, and because of all the criticism, there's no chance if you start to see him lose that motor function or whatever the technical term that they're throwing out there now is, if you start to see him tumbling like that, any player, they're done. They're not coming back in that game. So to me, I'm just tired of, getting like thinking I'm super smart and getting 88% Naheem Hines because he's an incredible play, and then being screwed. I might as well just turn the TV off. So to me, like I'm a little bit gun shy right now to go too heavy on anybody. and not to say that this is a strategy you guys should employ, but for me, I'm just going to kind of lay back a little bit because anybody that gets hit, there's a chance that they're gone for the game, and that just kind of scares me for a little bit right now. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Does that register to you at all? Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they're putting these independent neurosurgeons on TV. Like they were showing the person that needs to make the decision. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you're putting my picture up there as the new face of concussions, I might be a little cautious. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the breakdown here. This is going to be pretty quick. I don't anticipate this being too crazy. Let's get into it here. Break it down. All right, so Patrick Mahomes is 12K, Derek Carr 10.2K. To me, Derek Carr is a pretty good play, even if they lose. In fact, if they do lose this game by a lot, I think Derek Carr is a great option fantasy wise. Patrick Mahomes, we've seen it in the past. Depending on what the game script ends up being, Mahomes, you might not even need Mahomes. They could win, they could score 42 points and you might not need him. You know what I mean? So, what are your thoughts on getting two quarterbacks, and who would you sort of get less of in this case?
Yeah, so I'm with you on the car train. I think people are going to shy away from him a little bit just because of his Sunday output and how poorly the Raiders have been playing. But he's still putting up decent points. He's had 16 or more in every game except for but last week against Denver, and that's because Josh Jacobs was playing like he was at Alabama against a Division II school.
Yeah.
So, I really think that he's still going to get his 16, 17, 18 fantasy points. And then I agree with your take about Mahomes, man. Was he even in the optimal the last time
Uh,
with the Tampa game?
he was, but Kelsey was like literally like a half point. Like there was another lineup that was like a half point behind it, which did really good, and there was no Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the same scenario here, man. Like again, like Mahomes is probably going to be in the optimal, but I do think there's a world in which you can fade him and still be moderately okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's obvious things that you want to do to put Mahomes in the lineups. Like, obviously, if you're putting Mahomes at captain, you want to put two pass catchers at least, maybe more. And if you're going heavy on pass catchers in the flex, you probably want to throw Patrick Mahomes in there. That's probably the obvious thing to say. So let's get on to running backs here. Who do you want to start with here?
Let's start with Kansas City, our favorite.
All right. So take it away, man. 7,400 for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What the hell do we do here? He's actually cheaper than he was last week after scoring 2 touchdowns. Pretty lucky touchdowns, if you ask me.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna stick to my guns in this one, man. I'm gonna play him at captain. If he gets one of those 2 touchdown games, he scores 22 fantasy points. I'll be fine. I think you can have a little bit of exposure, maybe under the field or with the field. I'm not gonna fade him entirely, but I'm not gonna be targeting him in any of my lineups. At some point, this bullshit touchdown regression is gonna happen, and he's not going to get them. I mean, what happens if Jerick McKinnon gets the handoff on the RPO the other night instead of that bullshit touchdown?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
the whole thing's flipped on its head. So
yeah,
I have to stick by it because if I go heavy on him, it's going to be the night where he had to be faded to win.
yeah,
Exactly. How it goes.
There's no winning. Whatever we choose to do, that controls the outcome of this game. Is basically what's happening here. Look, Jerick McKinnon is 3K. Isaiah Pacheco is 4,800, and you got a fullback at 200. So McKinnon, I've been playing McKinnon for weeks now, which is probably why I'm losing money. When is this guy going to have a 2 touchdown game, or when is he going to pay off his salary? I can't not play him this week because it's going to be exactly what you just said. One of these other guys are going to go off.
Yeah, man, I think McKinnon actually might need to be more of a staple this week, right? Like we've had some other value plays when we played the Chiefs. Even Justin Watson was $400 cheaper last time, but at 3K, I mean, there's not really at that price range that I'm comfortable playing. So, I think you kind of just got to stick with it and hope that he gets it. I mean, he's getting what 40% of the snaps and 16% of the attempts or something along those lines. So
Yeah.
he's getting some volume here. He's just got to convert it, and I think it's happening.
I mean, look, I will say this, to go against you a little bit. I mean, look at that, 19 carries last week. 19 carries, it's a lot, man. That's like a number one running back carries there. So I don't know what Andy Reid's going to do this week. He always seems to change his mind, and I'm bringing that up because Pacheco did great last week. He looked good. He got a lot of touches. He's priced up to 4,800. I don't think that's a good price for him. I actually don't really think that he's going to get as much run this week as he did last week, unless this is a blowout.
Yeah. I actually don't. Look, I'm with you. I really don't want to get much exposure to Pacheco, but I don't mind him at what's going to be a massive discount ownership, right? Like he'll probably be 5%. So maybe play him in a lineup or two. Who knows?
Yeah, and look, if he is overinflated because of last week, because he was a prime time and he looked pretty good, I would avoid him altogether. Running backs, Josh Jacobs 8,800, Brandon Bolden 2K. So look, Josh Jacobs here, man. I want to hear your opinion on this. To me, I mean, he last week he had the best game he's ever had, pretty much. Just generally speaking, football wise, and I think fantasy wise, this is the highest total he's ever put up. I think it was 37 fantasy points. What are the chances that back-to-back games he has the best game of his career? Probably not going to happen. Now, you don't necessarily need him to score 37 fantasy points, but what are we doing here, man? He's still Josh Jacobs, right? He's still the same guy that we've kind of avoided in the past.
Yeah, man. Josh Jacobs has been inconsistent. This was absolutely one of his highest output games, and I don't think we'll see anything quite like it. But let's not keep in mind at 88, or let's not forget at 8,800, he really needs to get us to like that 15, 16 point mark. So if we think that he's paying that off, then I am a little bit interested in him. But what is interesting to me is kind of what we brought up a little bit earlier. Now we don't have enough data to identify this as a trend, but you got 11 fantasy points from Derek Carr in a win. And you got 37 and a half from Jacobs in a win.
Yeah,
And then you kind of see the other weeks, like Jacobs hasn't put up shit really. And then that's when Derek Carr has to make up for it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think this kind of indicates you might be able to just, go Carr and a pass catcher as opposed to stacking Carr and Jacobs, right? You may not be optimal stacking both those to capture all the offense on the Raiders side. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, man. But I'll probably be under the field, but I will have exposure to Josh Jacobs.
yeah. That's a really interesting point that you bring up. I mean, usually I don't have a problem with pairing the quarterback with the running back who may get six or so targets or whatever. I usually don't have a problem with that, but it just feels like to me if Josh Jacobs is crushing, the Raiders are going to be winning that game. So you got to kind of think differently
Right.
about it. A lot of times you can throw in some of these backup running backs when the teams are losing and pair them with your quarterback. But in this case, Josh Jacobs, I'm not super interested, and I'm kind of interested to see what his ownership projection comes in at when the time comes. Zamir White, Jacob Johnson, Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah, preseason this guy was supposed to be a great number two option, catching balls out of the backfield like crazy. Dude hasn't shown up. Nothing's really happening. You got Brandon Bolden taking that role. Are you interested in any of these backups at all?
Not really. Maybe a little bit of Brandon Bolden. I guess I don't mind. Again, I'm not going to get too crazy here. I think my favorite value player right now is McKinnon. And then if I think you're safe for just a punt at $200 somewhere else.
Yeah, I'd rather get McKinnon than any of these backups over here. All right, so wide
Mhm.
receivers, Devontae Adams, 11.4K. We got Hunter Renfro with a potential concussion. We don't know if he's going to be active or not. Leaning towards potentially being active. And you got a guy like Mac Hollins. He's at 5K. Hunter Renfro's at 5,800. Mac Hollins is with or without Hunter Renfro is the number two target on this team. And this dude has been going off, man. Mac Hollins at 5K. It's a great option. I mean, obviously Devontae Adams is there. He hasn't really paid off this year, all the hype, but he's still Devontae Adams, man. I don't care who's throwing the ball. He's still
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, right?
Yeah, and I think Josh McDaniels kind of learned his lesson the 2 weeks prior. I think he had what three targets, and then or what? No, 17, 7, 10, and 13. Oh man, my notes are backwards. But look, you see his volume increase right in those two games where he put up some pretty fantastic output. You got 17 and 13, even in comparison to the 7 and 10. Those are still significantly higher. I just think that they're going to keep feeding him. Pay him, play him if
Yeah.
you can get to him.
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
know. I think the biggest thing we need to find out is what happens with Hunter Renfro, and beyond the fumble issue, or I'm sorry, beyond the concussion stuff, he has 3 fumbles on the year. Right, he had
Yeah.
1 in week 1, and
To
he
lose the
had 2
game.
in week 2 against Arizona.
Yeah.
Right, and that could be a reason why Matt Collins is getting some increased run here. Hunter Renfro is a small guy. They don't want him taking all these hits. Maybe they're trying to move back his snap count. So it's just things to keep in mind, and I think it opens up some value for other people. And then another one, he's not in the player pool yet, and we're gonna have to pay attention to inactives. Is Albert Wilson signed with
Oh
the
yeah.
Raiders on Friday.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a preparation in case Hunter has to sit for the concussion stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like maybe Keelan Cole gets a little bit of run, and at $200, sure, why not?
By the way, Matt Collins, I like a captain. Devontae Adams, obviously a captain. I'm gonna have quite a bit of that. Even if if this team's losing, he's still gonna get there most likely. KC. So you have some underperforming wide receivers here, but still solid. They just haven't really needed these guys that much. Juju Smith-Schuster, 6,600. MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 5,200. Mecole Hardman, 4,600. You got Justin Watson, 1K, and Sky Moore at 2,400. So where do we go here, man? I mean, Juju is getting a lot of snaps. MVS is getting a lot of snaps. I think those two guys are great options. What are your thoughts here, man? In any interest in Sky Moore? He's getting a little bit of uptick on snaps, but I don't think it's worth it at that price, right?
Yeah. So I think we kind of stick with the main guy here, Juju. He's starting to get some volume. It seems like he's getting some. He's getting some rhythm with Patrick Mahomes, and I think he adds a different level of physicality that Pat isn't really used to having from his wide receivers. He's a screen guy. He can go out and catch a screen and actually run after it. Right. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill can't. We all know that he can, but Juju will put a shoulder down. He'll try and actually be physical with the ball. So I think that excites Andy Reid in this offense, and they're going to try and work him in a little bit more. And then I think MVS is probably more of a captain option, 5,200. He's getting what 16% of the targets. So between him and Juju, you're looking at about 35 to 40% of all the passes being thrown. So we saw a couple deep ones to him up the sideline the other night. So I just really think that he's a touchdown away from breaking a slate open.
Yeah.
Um, Another guy that's interesting is Mecole Hardman. He hasn't really seen anything real since week 1. Now I know he's been kind of staggered a little bit in injuries and things like that. May have been impacting his total run, but I mean 6'4", 1'1". I think they're really trying to concentrate their attempts to Kelsey, Juju, and then just sprinkling in the backfield in MBS. So that's where I'm at with Hardman. Um, I don't know, man. I think Watson probably is my most interesting play here at 1K. The only issue with Justin Watson is he's only seeing 1 target per game, so he needs to catch his
Touchdown.
60-yard touchdown pass,
Yeah.
or he's not back on the field, or he's not
Yeah.
catching another pass.
Yeah.
So that's the risk there. But I mean, at 2, 3, 4% ownership, it's nothing too crazy. And then to answer your question about Sky Moore, I spent a little bit too much time on the wide receivers here. I think he's a great pivot off of Jerick McKinnon. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to Jerick, so I think I'll use Sky Moore as just a cheaper, punt down just to get a little exposure off of him. Because who knows? This could be a blowout. He saw some run last week and another blowout. So maybe this is the week he breaks out because of that.
Yeah. So MVS has 74% of the snaps this year. Second behind Kelsey to air yards, third in targets. I mean, MVS is definitely a good option, and Juju is the guy who's getting most of the targets from these wide receivers. But the interesting thing is here, you only have two touchdowns coming from these wide receivers. You have Mecole Hardman with a touchdown in week 1, And then you have Justin Watson. What was that, week 2 against Tampa Bay, or was that week 3? Anyways, Justin Watson with a big touchdown. So not a lot of touchdown equity going to these wide receivers. They just really haven't needed them. All right, so tight ends here. Travis Kelce, play him. That's all there is to say pretty much here. He's 10.8K. Noah Gray, 600. And Jody Fortson, touchdown machine over here, Jody Fortson at $400. So I'm just guessing. You're well, I know the answer, but Travis Kelce is probably going to be your favorite captain. Obviously, this is a Kansas City Showdown slate, so there's the answer to that. But thoughts on sprinkling in some of these other guys? Can Jody Fortson get another touchdown in this game at $400?
If Derek Carr was this quarterback, I'd say no, but it's Patrick Mahomes, so yeah, yeah. I mean, it was highly unlikely he'd have 2 touchdowns on the season coming into it, so why isn't it not just, anyways, yes, he can catch touchdown pass. Noah Gray can catch touchdown pass. I think both these guys are in play. I'm not going to have all 3 tight ends in a lineup, but I definitely think that these are guys you're going to need to get exposure to, that you're comfortable with playing. As opposed to, $200 Keelan Cole.
Kelsey's going to be on the field all the time. He will obviously be involved in blocking, but he's not going to be being held back to block. He's still running routes. Look at his targets here: 9, 7, 8, 10, 3 touchdowns this year. It's and a 2-point conversion. I mean, this guy's great. I'm going to try to convince myself to not play like a ridiculous amount of him because it's just such an easy thing to do. But it's going to be hard not to. I don't care what his price is. I'm playing him. All right, so Vegas here. Darren Waller, 7,200. He's dealing with some injury issues. Foster Moreau, 800. Not sure of his status. He probably, I don't know. He was DMP Thursday, Friday for practice, so he might not be active. Look, Darren Waller has not really been putting up the numbers we thought he would after a big contract. He hasn't had a terrible year, but you're expecting 20 points out of this guy all the time almost. He's one of the best in the league. Look at his targets: 6, 8, 5, 5. He's running routes. He's getting targeted, just not really coming down with the touchdowns. So what do we do here with him, man? 7,200. I think people are going to be kind of scared of him. This is a great captain option, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. I think he's a solid captain option. I think he's a pretty decent flex play too. I mean, I look, I can't imagine that McDaniels and Derek Carr are so in love with Matt Collins that they're going to continue to feed him like he's a number 1 wide receiver. Like Darren Waller should be up there with Travis Kelce. And even George Kittle's not there this season, but he's got that history, right?
Yeah.
Darren Waller deserves to be in the conversation of those elite tight ends. Like they need to get him involved unless he's truly just not physically ready to go. I like him, play him. I'll probably be over the field because I just don't think people are going to play him with the pricing. I think people are going to try and get to Jacobs more based off of the recency bias.
Yeah, you're right.
And
totally.
then Foster Moreau, man, that's the one I'm really interested in. I want to see if he's healthy, if he's able to strap it up and play. He's one of these random guys who line up with exactly what you're seeing here: 3 receptions, 44 yards. Sometimes he'll have 1 reception, 2 yards, and a touchdown. So that's why I like Foster Moreau. If he's active and playing, I think you're fine. And even if he is inactive, you're getting a 0 from an $800 guy as opposed to like Jerick McKinnon being inactive.
Yeah, totally. Kickers and defense. We've been seeing a lot of this lately with all the sloppy play in the NFL, but you're looking at Kansas City, who is, man, they haven't missed a beat. Even after losing arguably their best player in Tyreek Hill. So when it comes to kickers here, obviously Harrison Butker probably is not going to play. I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck him because I don't think he's playing. Obviously check to see who the active kicker is, but Matthew Wright at 4K, Daniel Carlson at 3,800. I don't think that there's any crazy weather going on here. It's probably just a normal day, but they're playing outside, and I don't know, man. These kickers have always killed me, man. We're seeing kickers crush it in these lineups lately. You got to just be with the field here around 20%, or are you interested in more?
Yeah, I think you're around the field. I'm not going to have as much Daniel Carlson as I do Matthew Wright. I think the Raiders will be playing from behind. At a certain point, they're going to have to forego kicking field goals. So I think you kind of lean more towards the Matthew Wright side, but stay even with the field. Don't play both.
Defense. Chiefs defense 4,200, Raiders 3,200. Any interest in the Chiefs defense here?
Yes, not much, maybe 5 to 10%. Not in the captain spot. No
All right.
interest in Raiders.
All right, let's move on to our crown their ass segment, our favorite tournament captain for DraftKings.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Ellie, you're going Kelsey, no doubt there. I'm feeling inspired by Alec Pierce the other night being the optimal captain. Mac Hollins at 5K, getting all the targets he's getting. Man, this guy, you could fit all the studs in the flex with that price tag. I'm interested in Hollins at captain. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not playing 100% Hollins at captain. I'm going to be spread out, but I will definitely be way above the field at his captain ownership. Any interest in Hollins at captain?
Yeah, man, I don't mind him. I think that his pricing is nice that you can get a lot of better players in without having to punt.
All right, let's go to our fade.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
All right, so Ellie, wow, you're bold, man. CEH again. You're willing to double down on this, man. We're gonna have to make a bet here. If he goes off again, is in the optimal, and you faded him again, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to do some weird bet here. But you're comfortable, man. You're just doing it, right?
Yeah, man. Look, at this point, I'm just I'm committed. I've been fading him for a year and a half, year and
It's worked
5 games at this point.
Yeah, it's worked out almost
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, man, at a certain point, he's not going to get lucky touchdowns. Like, I get you at Patrick Mahomes, but it's not going to keep happening. I don't think it can.
Yeah, so for me, I don't really have a specific player. I'm going to have exposures to everybody. But for me, I just don't want to do any like 4-2 Raider stacks or 2-4 Raider stacks. I'm going to keep it at 3 max and hope that, those threes can have some garbage time points scored. But I'm just not really feeling a whole lot of Raiders tonight, besides the key guys. All right, so where are we at now? You want to do a lineup build?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's see here. Let me switch over. All right, so what do you want to start with here? Do you want to just look at the opto?
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. Juju, captain, Noah Gray, Renfro, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not really super interested in that. I'm gonna hit reset. Let's do our own here. So, look,
Let's build with Pat at captain. Let's build a chalky.
That's what I was gonna say, man. Let's get a lineup that we like here. That could solo a tournament in theory, or at least make you some money. So where are we going, Derek Carr, or are we gonna fade Derek Carr?
Let's maybe fade Derek Carr. Let's go Travis Kelce. Let's go Devontae Adams and see where we're at.
All right, so 9,800 for 3 spots. It's gonna get tight. We're gonna have to go to like a $400 guy or something like that.
Let's throw in McKinnon just right off the bat.
Okay, McKinnon's in 6,800. You want to go like kicker? You want to go Daniel Carlson or something, or what do you think?
Hold on. Let's throw in Noah Gray and kind of see where we're at.
All right, Noah Gray, $600. Hoping for a touchdown from him. 6,200. That gets us Hunter Renfro, MVS, Mac Hollins, that kind of stuff. I'm assuming it'll probably want to be something like this. Oh no, sorry. You're gonna want to do something like that. 4-2, Mac Hollins and Devontae Adams. Does that feel that okay? Or
that's okay. I mean, and if you're not feeling it, swap out Devontae for Derek Carr and then keep Mac Hollins in there.
Yeah, or you can just do this and put a lot of money, leave a lot of money. What was that Thursday night? We saw that optimal, the winner of the Millie for that Thursday night game left like, what, 17,000 or something on the table? I mean, what in the Sam Hill? Who's building that freaking lineup? It's crazy. All right, so do you like this lineup for Patty before we move on?
Yeah, it's not terrible, man. I probably run it.
A lot of options here. All right, so who do you want to go with next? We got to do Devontae, right? And then we'll do Kelsey.
Yeah,
And then we'll do Hollins.
Devontae
Okay.
Adams.
All right. So we want to pair him with Carr. Maybe this is like a 2-4 or something.
Actually, you want to get crazy? Let's do Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. All right. We going Mahomes here?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to let's do 2-4. You want to see if we can get 4 Chiefs in there?
Yeah. I don't. We're gonna have to fade Kelsey in this one. We're gonna have to do something like Juju and MVS with a punt, or you go down to like Sky Moore. What do you think? We got to get 2 pass catchers here, but we can't get Kelsey with this build.
Let's go. Damn it. Let's go Jerick McKinnon and Juju and see where we're at.
All right, Jerick, Juju. We're gonna be okay here. I think 2,500. That's not great, but that gets you Sky Moore. That gets you Brandon Bolden. Probably want to do something like a Justin Watson even.
Throw in MBS over Juju and see what kind of what
All right,
that helps
that
us
might
get
get
up
us. Yeah, that might help us here. That saves us 1,400. That gets us in the $3,900 range, and that gets us Daniel Carlson if we wanted him, or well, we already have McKinnon, so it doesn't do a whole lot for you. You only really get the kicker, and then you still get the same other guys. So it's an option. I mean, can we go with like somebody else? Do you want to do like Cole? Let's see if that even does anything for us. 4,500. So that does give you Chiefs defense. That gives you that's actually not a bad lineup right there. I'm going to save that real quick. Sorry, I need to pan up there. Chiefs defense, Matthew Wright. Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it.
I like it.
Rotate, you can get like 4 or 5 lineups out of this core here. Just rotate out that last guy, and then you can even take McKinnon out, punt there, and then try to get another guy here at a higher salary. All right, so let's do Kelsey, obviously. Let's just see. The Devontae was a lot easier to build with. Kelsey, let's see if this is easy. Patty, or you want to do like a Derek Carr, a little mini stack or something?
All right. So before you throw something at me through the camera, go ahead and put in Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
All right. I like it.
And let's run it back with 4 Raiders. Let's get Derek Carr.
Love it.
Let's get Darren Waller.
Love it.
And throw in your boy. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Collins, definitely. That leaves us with 4K.
And throw in Carlson.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I really don't. And if you wanted to get 3-3 on this mofo, you can pop in Matthew Wright, which is literally perfect, 50K salary. Not bad. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Let's do a 4-2 now with Patty. So where do we want to go now? Or we can do a 2-4, but probably not.
No, we're fine. Let's throw in Justin Watson. I guess we got to. And then Jerick McKinnon.
McKinnon, baby. 17.8K for 2 spots. We can do whatever the hell we want here. So do you want to get Carr or do you want to get Devontae and
yes, let's go Devontae.
See what's left. 6,400. That gets us Hunter Renfrow if he plays. This is an absolute onslaught here. Or you can go with Matt Collins without the quarterback. You could let's see what happens if we go with Derek Carr here. If that buys us anything better. 7,600 left. Hey, I like this.
Yeah, you can rotate Waller, Renfrow, Hollins.
Yeah, I like this. This is pretty cool. And that thanks to Justin Watson.
I guess we got Justin Watson in there as the punt, and then McKinnon is kind of still an unknown. But I still don't hate that lineup.
Yeah, but you could also go down to Noah Gray. You can go to Jody Fortson here in that punt spot. You could also do a 3-3 and get a guy like Foster Moreau if he plays, that kind of stuff. I like Trav here. I do. All right, let's go. Who do you want to go with next here?
Let's build a set lineup just to be safe.
Okay. Let's just optimize and see what happens. Foster Moreau, Renfro. This is a 2-4. That's kind of interesting.
That is a god-awful lineup.
Yeah, let's go with Carr. Oh, what the heck was that?
My bad, guys.
You're gonna blow somebody's speakers out. Let's go with Carr. What do you want to do here? 3-3, 4-2. Does it matter? Do you just want to see how it lands?
Yeah, let's see where we end up. Let's throw in Pat and Kelsey if we can.
Okay.
Or let's do Pat and Devontae. Well, with Carr.
Oh, with Carr. I love it. Okay. Pat, Devontae, 5,300 for 2 spots. If we say F it and go super low, we could get a guy. You know, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, put in Mac Hollins and whatever $200 guy we're okay with playing.
Reading my freaking mind over here. Keelan Cole, Amir Abdullah. There's not really anybody at 200 that I'm interested in. So let's go down from Mac. You could go with, you can go with Pacheco, Mecole Hardman, or you can just kind of go down to the kicker here. You can go to Matthew Wright, and that leaves you with 1,300. And guess who you're going to get? You're going to get Justin Watson here. 4-2. I don't know, man. Let's build a better lineup than this. I don't like this.
All right. Let's start over. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a 2-4. We're gonna take out Mahomes. We're gonna throw in Jerick McKinnon.
Okay.
And let's go Carr, Adams, Jacobs.
Adams, Jacobs, 5,500. That's a lot there. We can do a lot. MVS. If you wanted to stick with that 2-4, Mac Hollins. This is a little scary. This to me is a lot closer of a game. This is a competitive game, unless CEH and McKinnon just absolutely go off. Like what if instead of Jacobs, let's switch McKinnon out and let's put like at least Kelsey in here, and we take Jacobs out, and what does that get us? That gets us, we got 1,500 remaining. You're gonna punt with with Foster Moreau or something. So not really liking that either. It's almost like we have too many options here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get a CH lineup for sure, but I don't know. Even the Opto sucks. Even the Opto sucks ass. You know what I mean? So let's move on from that because I'm not really liking that much. And let's do a Mac Hollins, right? I know there's plenty of other guys to build with, right? There's Josh Jacobs. There's obviously if you want to do some Derek Carr at captain, feel free to. Darren Waller. There's even Juju. But let's just go right to Mac Hollins and see that big price difference. Let's see what happens. Let me just hit optimize and see what happens. So Juju, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes with Brandon Bolden. Let's build our own. 2-4 here. 3-3.
Yeah. Let's go 2-4. Let's go Mac and then Derek Carr.
Okay. You want to go Patty or you want to go more run game and studs?
No. Let's go Patty and Kelsey.
Okay, let's see what that gets us. Not bad, actually, 4,700. So this is in the kicker defense range, or you could punt and get into the Hunter Renfro range probably. You could play Jerick McKinnon again. You could go like Sky Moore or something here. Let's put in Sky Moore.
Can you throw in Darren Waller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try it. 2,300. Well. We just missed out on Sky Moore.
I almost had Sky Moore too.
Yeah, that would have been sick. So now you're dealing with Brandon Bolden. I mean, it's not ideal. Justin Watson.
Yeah, that's rough.
So let's get rid of him. Let's just go ahead and put in Sky Moore here. That gets us 7,100. So obviously we miss out on him. So you got to go with Juju. But this is what we talked about. So you got Mac Hollins, a captain, paired with Derek Carr. You're going to spread out all that passing. You got Mahomes, Kelsey, Sky Moore, and Juju. This is an onslaught here for the most part. I like that lineup. So Mac Hollins, not bad, man. I do. You want to build another one? You want to do like a 4-2 Raiders here, just to see what happens?
Yeah, let's do it with. Okay, yeah. You're good. Okay, so Derek Carr, throw in Darren Waller.
Okay. Waller.
And then you want to do Pat and Juju and just see where we're at?
Yeah, hey, that's looking okay. 6,500. So Hunter Renfrow, if he plays. Hey, that's not bad. I know we're fading Devontae. I get it. What else do you got? You got... you have to go all the way down to the kicker.
Juju.
MVS?
Yeah, go from Juju to Matthew Wright.
Okay. Interesting. 9,100. Josh Jacobs. Or you could throw in this situation, the 3-3 with a kicker. It's not bad.
That's not terrible.
Yeah. So
you got a lot of flexibility.
There's a lot of flexibility, and the only build that I really didn't love was with Devontae. That was tough, and obviously, and Mahomes too. So just the way we're building, just kind of the rules we're setting up, and things that are happening like that. Some of these captains just don't work out well for those. So look, Ellie, what are your final thoughts here? What did we discover after this, and where are you going to be leaning when you start building lineups for this?
Yeah, I don't think that the pricing is all that crazy, but I think I'm just a little bit more comfortable playing these $400 dudes and $1,000 dudes than a lot of other people. So I think your take earlier in the show was right. I think with the new concussion stuff and the way that things are playing out, I'm not going to be as concentrated on my ownership this slate, and it works out perfectly because we got Pat Mahomes at quarterback. Just rotate everybody in.
Exactly. Well, thanks, guys. Go ahead and throw us a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. For next time, if you guys can't watch, we always have the podcast version as well. And obviously, join that Discord. We're going to be hanging out in there. Actually, for this game, I won't be available, but Ellie will be in there. So if any injuries come up, anything happens there, we'll be talking more about that. So join that Discord. It's free. And help us out. Help us to get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving. I think we could do it. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you for Thursday Night Football. Whatever that... Oh, that's the shitty game. Oh, man. That's Bears and...
Hey, man.
Oh, man.
It's the Commanders, man. I'm ready. Carson Wentz, bro. I'm ready.
All right. See you guys later.